What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash, and today I am beginning my series covering the story of the Sandman, one of the quintessential DC Comics cosmology reads, as well as it's considered one of the best stories ever. It's written by Neil Gaiman, who is one of the most celebrated comic book writers of all time. Now, what I'm going to be doing for this is kind of special. I'm going to cover 10 issues at a time. I was given the Omnibus collection from my comic book plug. Shout out to him. We'll cover 10 issues at a time in a mixture of lore, um, the story itself, and what I kind of call real time scaling, in which everything I talk about is kind of from the perspective of we cover it as we go. So, I'm not going to go over the whole story at once and what everything means at once. I'm going to go through issue by issue, go over them, and talk about what each issue entails or possibly entails. So it's almost like you guys are reading and scaling with me. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start off with issue number 1. It starts off basically with a museum worker, possibly caretaker, looking real suspect, and reveals he has stolen a book to give to a cult. He does this with the intention of them using it to bring back his son who recently passed away in the First World War. The cult, led by someone monikered the Demon King or Damon King, plan on capturing death itself. Around the world at this time, we see several cases of people, and with these people, what's involved is they are having weird cases of sleeping and weird cases of dreams. The cult then summons something, but it is not death itself. However, this creature, this manifestation, whatever they summoned, the Damon King himself is proud of it and deems it something they can use going on further in the story. So this is when it's kind of a short introduction. Here we get to number 2 of the Sandman. So the museum worker, man by Burgess, actually kills himself. What he did is he realized, what the cult was doing was wrong, wasn't good, didn't work, and he wanted to kind of not frame them, but expose them for what they did after he killed himself. But the note was burned, and they didn't end up getting any time, so he died for nothing. What a loser. Anyways, cases we previously saw in the first issue start to get a little more weird, either resulting in suicide, death, or a comatose-like state. We then find out that the cult suspects what they summoned is in fact a member of the Endless. At this point, all that we really know about the Endless is that they're extremely powerful and possibly represent manifestations such as death. A member of the Endless would be someone related to death, but it is not death. The boy in the cult, his name is Alex, discovers and reveals that it may in fact be Dream. One cult leader implies that this venture could, quote, forsake the material plane, which you could interpret to mean destroy creation. Time goes on, and when I say time, I literally mean decades, and a rift in the cult occurs when Sykes, the second in command, for the cult, steals artifacts and money, and then dips with his side chick. War is officially declared within the cult. An amulet he stole negs the curses put against him by his former teammates from the cult. Unfortunately for him, years later, his side chick dips because she's a side chick and they aren't loyal. And when she dips, she leaves with the stuff. And this means she leaves with what was protecting him from the curses. So when she dips, he instantly explodes. Years go by, and 70, in fact. That's how many years have passed. Dream, who has been held hostage on the physical plane this whole time within a bubble in the hands of this cult, he escapes and captures old man Alex, who by now is very old and was in charge of the cult. He reveals that he is in fact related to death. He's the brother of death, and subjects Alex to, quote, eternal waking, which seems to be endless nightmares. all the people who went comatose previously in the other issues, and this is what's great about Neil Gaiman, is a lot of his stuff ties back to previous mentions in his stories. So, and it's not too far back that you forget about him. Like, you read it, you're like, oh snap, I remember this person. So that's something I really like about his writing. But the people who went comatose once Dream is free seem to wake up and be fine. Dream seems to be planning on returning home. We also saw a guy kill, quote, bad people and sprinkle sand on them. And this seems to have brought him peace. Moving on, we get to issue 3. And this is when they kind of show us that the imprisonment of Dream on a physical plane has weakened him severely, just his overall power. He ends up in the House of Mysteries, tended to by the biblically famed brothers Cain and Abel. He orders them to give him letters that he gave them prior, and one of these actually possesses a fragment of himself from before the dawn of even time, and he absorbs this. He returns back to Dreamscape, which is revealed to be his realm. This is described as an infinite but bounded plane of existence. This should be illogical because obviously infinite shouldn't be bounded on both sides. But again, he is not of the material plane, of the human plane and the mortal concepts. So his existence should be above what humans typically comprehend and try to add value to. So the way infinite works for him works different for humans in our math. So right here, we already see his scaling is outerversal for sure, at least when he achieves, his true power. Maybe not weakened, but his true power. In his absence, in the 70 years, the realm Dreamscape has deteriorated in his absence because the realm itself is actually a manifestation of himself. He summons 3 witches to help him recover the tools he has lost. One of them is the pouch of sand, and this is revealed to allegedly be with a magician / con man named John Constantine. His helm is with supposedly some random demon. The Dreamstone was with the Justice League allegedly after they took it down. They took down Dr. Destiny when he was using it. Dream plans on recovering his sand pouch first before he pulls up on Hell itself, saying that with some of his power back, Hell shouldn't be too hard for him to beat. Now we're moving on to issue 4. Dream pulls up on a Constantine, who is dealing with nightmares. Constantine says he hasn't seen the pouch in ages, but agrees to help find it. The two go on to an old keepsake place of John's, and he realizes that his old girl, Rachel, probably stole it. The two get to the house where Rachel resides, and Dream tells Constantine it isn't safe for him inside. But Constantine doesn't care. He's about it, so he's like, yo, I'm interested now. Let's roll up. And when they get inside, Constantine instantly gets mollywopped by a dreamlike state, and Dream himself has to save him from it. They then find Rachel rotting away, and Dream grants her a peaceful passing. The reason this was so crazy is like the stuff she's attempting to use, which is the sand and the pouch that was Dream, just too much for a mortal. They can't properly use it. And it bopped her. Her dad was like turned inside out and was a part of the house. It was disgusting. Before leaving this place to invade Hell and get his helm back, Dream relieves Constantine of his nightmares. Moving on to issue number 5. Dream pulls up on the gates of Hell, demanding Lucifer Morningstar himself. He says, yo, bring me that guy Lucifer. I need to talk to him. The gatekeeper is real disrespectful. He's like, I don't see you with the helmet on. You don't seem relevant. Then all of a sudden you hear, oh, and then his boy, the gatekeeper, gets bopped on by Dream. He's just not having the disrespect. Etrigan then pulls up, meets Dream. Dream's like, yo, I remember you. You're Merlin's demon. You seem to have made a name for yourself down here, risen in ranks. Etrigan's like, you're right. I got clout. Let me go ahead and take you to where you need to go. We find out that Hell's ruling has actually changed and went from just Lucifer Morningstar to now a triumvirate. This triumvirate all comes down with Lucifer. They talk to Dream. Dream says, yo, I really need my helm back. One of the demons have it. They summon every demon in hell there to kind of see which one has what. After examining them, we see Dream go, yo, homeboy over there has my helmet. That's when we find out a duke of one of the other Hell Kings has his crown. These two end up dueling, Dream and the demon, and the stakes are, if Dream wins, he gets the helm back. If he loses, he becomes like a plaything for the demons. It begins like a battle of imagination. Basically, you imagine something to fight the other. So it'll be something like a mosquito. Mosquito gets stepped on by like a wolf or a hippo, so on and so forth. Eventually, Dream kind of discovers the pattern of this demon, and he starts amping, power scaling. He's like, yo, I'm a planet. And then the dude's like, oh, I'm a supernova. And he's like, and Dream's like, oh, I'm a universe. Then what now? And then, the demon gets, carried away, and he goes, I'm the destruction of everything. And Dream goes, I am hope. And demon's like, damn, bars. And then he gets bopped, and homeboy gets his helmet back. This also is crazy because we know Superman is supposed to be like the manifestation of hope itself, which should neg the destruction of all creation, which makes sense with other stories, but that's for another time. Dream, before he leaves, kind of gets pulled up on by Lucifer in a passive, non-aggressive, still aggressive kind of way, where Lucifer's like, why should I let you leave? I can just bop you. And Lucifer goes, because without me, what power do you have in hell? Lucifer's like, what are you talking about? And Dream's like, hell doesn't work, doesn't really function without the idea of there being a heaven, a better existence. So without those dreams, no one in hell cares and you lose your power. Lucifer's like, bro, I hate this, man. But Dream leaves. We found out Dream is a god tier debater. But anyway, we are moving on to issue number 6. Dr. Destiny is locked away in Arkham Asylum, talks to his mom. His mom helps him escape after she dies. And Dr. Destiny ends up escaping to get his ruby. Dream pulls up and he meets Scott Free. Obviously, they're pursuing the ruby, which is like the Dreamstone. And Free says, yo, I think everyone's asleep from the Justice League that would know where it is, but we'll go find someone. And he takes him to Martian Manhunter. When Martian Manhunter sees Dream, he's like, oh, snap, immediately bows down. He's like, yo, no beef, what you want. Recognizes him as like a god above gods in the Martian culture. This is, Dream respects that, respects real, recognizes real, and, asks where it is, and Manhunter tells him. After Dream leaves, Scott Free's like, yo, who is that? And Manhunter's like, bro, you don't understand, that boy has the sauce. Anyways, Dream ends up finding the ruby, but as he tries to take it back, he gets KO'd by the raw power feedback. We find out it's kind of been corrupted when Dr. Destiny uses it. And Dr. Destiny pulls up and snags the ruby. Moving on to number 7. Dr. Destiny goes and holds up in a bar and traps all the people in it to play like a sick, sadistic game with them that lasts for several hours, becoming their god, making them fight each other, making them worship him, making them like mutilate themselves to worship him. It gets crazy. As this happened, the world itself starts to go mad, and this is because Destiny's fault. He's manipulating the dream and the ideas of dreams in everyone's head. They're either falling asleep or doing crazy stuff. This is when Dr. Destiny gets pulled up on by Dream, and Dream's like, dude, you don't understand what you're doing. What you're doing can potentially scar the dreamscape itself and scar humanity. You're going to have to give me my stuff back. Dr. Destiny's like, no, you're not my dad. And Dream's like, whatever, if we're going to fight, we're going to do it in the dreamscape. And so he goes in the dreamscape. Dr. Destiny follows. This brings us to issue number 8. Dream, he's been trying to reason with Dr. Destiny. It's just not working. Like I said, I kind of jumped ahead, but not really. He says, if we're going to scrap, it's on my turf. This is when we're on their turf. When Dr. Destiny pulls up and tries to bop Dream, even though he can't really find him in the dreamscape. All dreams are affected at this point. Destiny itself, who we see as a member of the Endless, is concerned reading the book. He's reading the book of all things that have happened, will happen, have happened. All it covers everything, and he's reading it as it goes. And he's like, "Yo, I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's getting lit." This at this point, we see Dr. Destiny accidentally destroys the ruby trying to destroy Dream. And when this happened, Dream absorbed the power that was within the Dreamstone, basically gets all of his power back, and puts Dr. Destiny back in Arkham Asylum. The usage of the Dreamstone and everything else that came from it really broke Dr. Destiny. Just mortals can't handle that kind of power. Moving on to the next, we have issue number 9, in which we see Dream meet up with his sister, Death. Dream is in his feelings. He's been listening to Drake. He's at the park. Someone's trying to kick a soccer ball at him. He blocks it. His sister pulls up, and she snaps on him for being as down as he is. Basically, what happened was Dream, and you see this happen a lot, is he set out goals to do stuff. But these goals, once he met them, left him with no other goals. And so he's depressed because he doesn't feel like he has anything to pursue. So at this point, she takes him everywhere, and he follows her as she does her job as Death and ponders the roles of the Endless. At this point, he questions the people's irrational fear of death because he says, there's stuff beyond death. Existence itself is temporary. There's stuff beyond that. But people are still afraid of death. And it kind of puts things in perspective for him because no one's really afraid of Dream. This, we see, kind of gives him a sense of purpose again, and he thanks his sister for it. It's kind of sad. We see, kind of sad, not really, but a dude who almost hit them with the soccer ball ends up dying in this same issue, and she meets with him again. At first, he had a crush on her, then he meets her again, and she tells him what happened. That's how the issue ends. Now, last issue of this video, issue number 10, touches back on a character I didn't even bring up because it was that insignificant at the time. Remember when Dream pulled up on Hell? Well, when Etrigan was leading him, he saw a lady locked away. And Dream said to Etrigan, like, bro, why you leading me this way? And Etrigan's like, no beef, bro, I'm just leading you. And the girl goes, Dream, I know you care about me. Tell me you've forgiven me, let me out of here. And Dream says, it might have been 10K years, but I haven't forgiven you yet. And you're like, damn, I wonder who she is. Well, we find out in this issue. We actually learn the story of the woman who loved Dream. She was a princess named Nada, the most beautiful woman in the world. She had a prosperous city, and we're learning this story through a ritual done by Africans. It's an old man and a younger man. It's like a rite of passage, and he's telling homeboy what went down, this legendary story, told from man to man in order to bring them into manhood. Now, she couldn't find a man that was worthy of her, but one night she sees a guy with shiny, starry eyes, and she's like, I want him, but he disappeared. So she goes to the king of birds, and she's like, yo, I need you to help me find this guy. And the bird's like, okay. They eventually find a bird that saw him, dispatch that bird to go see what's going on, find out who it is. The king of birds says, yo, that's not a man or a god. That is something beyond even gods themselves. Shouldn't mess with that. This is kind of when she pursues it anyway. Dream falls in love with her, but she realizes these two are not supposed to mix, a mortal and someone from the Endless. As a result, her city's destroyed, and she kills herself so that she doesn't cost humanity anymore because of her love affair with Dream. As a result, Dream has her go to hell for it. He keeps asking her time and again, and he's like, look, if you say no again, you're going to hell. And she was like, okay, then please don't ask me again, because you're not going to like the answer. He asks anyway, because he's Dream, and he does what he wants. She says no, and she gets cast to hell. Now, it is kind of implied that the story is told differently by women, to women, but we're only seeing the man's perspective, and men are always right, so that's how it is. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. As of now, through the first 10 issues we've gone over, we know Dream is above even gods themselves, which should include the likes of new gods, old gods, all of that. He's like a conceptual being way above that. Let me know what you think. Love this story. Like, subscribe. It's been your boy Sir Splash. I'll see y'all later. Peace.